In January of 2025, I had roughly 40 team members or virtual assistants doing DM outreach for myself and my business, but also for my clients and getting them appointments to DM outreach. And as I'm making this video, September 17th, I now have only 3 virtual assistants, 3 team members. And the reason is because of AI. So in this video, I want to share some key lessons and big lessons personally I've learned, mistakes that I've learned through this year, and ultimately that's helping my business sustain itself, but really thrive for the years to come. So for those who don't know me, however, my name is Marcus, co-founder of a company called PK Media. And for the last 4 years, we've done DM outreach for other business owners, usually marketing companies, to get them more clients, whether they be in roofing, gyms, lawyers, accountants, or real estate, you name it. And we did it through exactly how we grew our business, which was DM outreach, specifically on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. But mainly we've been doing through Instagram, and that's what was popping off at the time. Now, the way we did it was manually sending out DMs and delegating it to contracted virtual assistants. And so when we did this in 2022, 2023, we had only 5 to 8 employees or team members at the time. 2023, that's when we grew to 20. And then by the end of 2024, going into this year, 2025, that's where we had roughly around 40 virtual assistants. Insane, right? And while we were scaling and got more clients and got more virtual assistants, it became a huge hassle and eating a lot into our profit margin. And this is where my first lesson comes in, is that revenue is vanity and profit is sanity. You see, naturally as we grew, we're gonna have a little bit of churn clients where they leave, and therefore we have to keep paying the virtual assistants, or we just let them go. But we didn't want to do that. And so it ate into our profit margin. So while we were boasting about making 50 or even 60K a month in revenue, we actually were just taking home 5, 8, maybe 10 in profit. So that's one of the reasons why we leaned out the team, is so that we can be a more profit-centric business. And thanks to AI and automation, we were able to do this. And that goes into the second thing I want to talk about, which is actually coming from my mentor who taught me, Paul Daly, and that is to double down on your winners. We hear it all the time, is double down on the winning ads, double down on the winning marketing plan, double down on the winning fulfillment and product. And so that we double down on LinkedIn, which if you see my YouTube channel, which is all I talk about, is LinkedIn. And the reason why we solely went with LinkedIn and stopped running Facebook, stopped running Instagram, was simply because we were getting 10 times better results on LinkedIn. And that's no joke. For B2B, every single KPI was getting beat out by LinkedIn. We were getting more replies and higher reply rates. We were getting more positive replies and smoother conversations. And we were getting more booked appointments and more closed clients for our businesses, for our clients that we're helping with. And then, in fact, we got so good at it, I personally wanted to use it myself, and I got 2 clients in just a matter of a month in the consulting industry. You know, and the reason why, I got a lot of people asking me, why did you stop using Instagram? Is it bad? Does it not work anymore? It just simply, with our model and doing manual DMs, Instagram's algorithm caught up to the point where it knew we weren't an actual person, where we were actually just using the account to prospect other businesses. And so I will kid you not, there were days where we made dozens of accounts and then dozens would fall flat, dozens of more accounts and dozens will fall flat, and keep doing this over and over again so that we can continue fulfilling for our clients. But it was just a continual operation expense and factory. Imagine like a Nike shoe factory where you run on a track for 1 day and then it doesn't work anymore. You see how much in expenses that can incur? That's what happened. And plus, it was still a manual process versus LinkedIn, which is an automation, an AI. So with Instagram, we were still doing the manual traditional route with VAs and getting more accounts. And that just ran up the costs, and just the profit margins were so thin. Versus with us and LinkedIn, we're using our own proprietary software now to fulfill for our clients with AI, and only have one appointment setter controlling the entire fulfillment for us. Literally booking in all the appointments for 25 of our current LinkedIn clients right now. Imagine that, going from 40 VAs to fulfill on a decent appointment setting system with with Instagram and Facebook, versus just one appointment setter taking control of LinkedIn, leveraging automations and AI to get better leads, better clients, and better results. So that's why it was a no-brainer to just double down on LinkedIn. But I kid you not, it has not only helped us with our profit margins, but our clients are getting 10 times better results on LinkedIn. So lesson number one again is be a profit-centric business. Profit first, profit first, profit first. Number two is double down on your best product. You don't need to have a million and one products. Maybe you're doing SEO, AI receptionist, paid ads on Meta, web design. Just focus, at least when you're marketing, focus on one front end product that you can sell that you know gets the best results and that you know your clients want. Now, I'll share my third and final lesson, which is energy. Alex Hormozi talks about this a lot. A lot of entrepreneurs talk about it a lot, even Tony Robbins. You know, where your energy flows, your focus goes. And we on the back end spent so much time focusing on our 40 VAs with Instagram and our client. It was probably like 90% of our focus and energy and time was just spent on Instagram and Facebook, and like 10% on LinkedIn because it was smooth sailing. And it's so funny because as I'm saying this to you, and it's like hindsight bias, like we should have done this sooner, right? But you know, we really wanted to keep our clients, but of course, keep our virtual assistants on the team. But it became such a management hassle, a lot of focus taken away from other positive outlooks into our business like LinkedIn. And so I guess the biggest thing I want to share with you is business speaks in numbers. It can care less about how you feel. You know, Paul Daly, and I'll see if I can get a clip in here after I say this, but just to paraphrase it, when we were talking about just shutting down Instagram, Facebook back in like July, we realized, you know, the only reason why we kept it on was because one, we had great clients who were using Instagram, but two, and we eventually switched them onto LinkedIn, but two was we just felt emotionally responsible for keeping our 40 virtual assistants. But that in of itself, I tell you, was actually a mistake because we're actually holding them from possibly working with you or other businesses that need your services. And so now, a couple months later, several months later, you know, they're working for another agency or another business and they're doing good. We've given them a home. We still have a couple people still looking for jobs and an employer. So if you are looking for a virtual assistant, just let me know. They're capable. They've been doing DM outreach for 2 to 3 years. But again, it was like keeping, and not to degrade them or anything, but it was like keeping worn out Nike shoes only because of the sentiment and the emotions and the memories you had. And that, as a young entrepreneur, all right, I'm only 24, I had to learn really quick. And so, you know, we gradually went down to 3 virtual assistants, or basically the people who've been our managers on our team. And yeah, just earlier this year, we were probably a 10 to 15% profit margin business. Now we're at basically 90% profit margin. And the reason I'm making this video is because I want to share my lessons that I learned this year. Probably the biggest, you know, business lesson so far in my life, you know, which is basically be a profit business first. Second is double down on your winning fulfillment, winning ads, winning marketing. And third, business will always speak in numbers. Just keep looking at it. It'll tell you what it needs and it can care less. I will be very brutal about this because I had to be with myself, is that it can care less about how you feel. It just cares about the numbers. It just cares about the profit. Now, I'm not saying to be heartless in your business, but you need to use your heart less in your business and start looking at the numbers. So this is definitely different than your typical LinkedIn video tutorial or advanced strategies that I wanted to give, but I wanted to be very personal in telling you why I'm focusing on LinkedIn, which, you know, if you go to my other channels or my other videos on my channel, you'll see me talking about every single strategy. So I'll probably even put one up here at the end of this video on the end screen, but take my advice on that, is that be very profit driven, focus on, you know, your winning fulfillment, winning product. You don't have to spread yourself thin with other services, other, you know, marketing channels. Just focus on one, and then eventually that's where you can double down and create more fulfillment, more marketing strategies, and maybe LinkedIn is one of them. So if that's the case, check out these other videos. I hope this video helped you as a business owner. So yeah, hope it helped. Peace.